The story of the fisherman and his wife. Many years ago, there were an old couple who lived in a little hovel by the sea. For the husband was a fisherman, and every day he went out in his boat and fished, and every night he came home to his wife. One day, bright sunny day, the sun was reflecting from the waves. The fisherman caught a flounder, a great big healthy fish. But the flounder spoke to the man and said, "Please do not eat me. I'm not really a fish. I'm an enchanted prince, and if you let me go, I will help you as best as I can." And the husband said, "I don't think I would really eat a talking fish," and he threw the flounder back into the sea. So that night, when he returned home to the little hovel that he shared with his wife, he told his wife the story about what had happened and how he had caught a flounder that had spoken to him. And the wife said, "Well, didn't you ask it for anything?" The husband said, "No, it didn't really occur to me to ask a fish to grant me anything." The wife said, "Tomorrow go to the sea and ask the flounder to give us a little cottage. We deserve better than this little hovel. We need a cottage with a garden." So the next day the fisherman went down to the sea, which by this time was a slightly darker colour, and he called out to the flounder, and the flounder swam up to the beach and asked the man what it was that he wished for. And the husband said, "My wife would like a cottage with a little garden." And the flounder said, "Go home, she's already there." So when the man went home, there was a clean little cottage with a kitchen, lots of pots and pans, plenty of food, a little garden with vegetables and hens and ducks. And the man said, "Oh, isn't this lovely? We'll be so happy living here." And the wife said, "We'll see." So time passed, and the man was very happy living in the little cottage. But after some time, the wife said, "I think we need something bigger. I think we should have a castle. I think we deserve more than just this little cottage. Ask the flounder to grant us a castle." So the man went down to the beach and looked at the sea, which was a dark purple colour, and the waves were beginning to grow bigger. And he called to the flounder, and he said, "My wife wishes for a castle." And the flounder said, "Go home, she's there already." So the old man, when he returned home, found not the little cottage, but a stone castle. He went to find his wife sitting at a long table, groaning under the weight of all the food. And the man said, "Now we can be happy." And his wife said, "We'll see." So time passed. The man was maybe not quite so happy living in the castle. Really, it was a little bit drafty compared to their cottage. But one day, the wife was looking out of the window at the rolling hills, at the well-tended fields, at the people who were working, and she said, "I think I should be king. I think all this land should belong to me. Go to the flounder and tell him I want to be king." So the man argued for a little bit, and then he went down to the beach, where the waves were growing higher, and he called out to the flounder. The flounder said, "What is it your wife wishes for now?" The man said, "She wants to be king. Go home. She's king already." So the man went back to what had been a castle that was now a palace. And his wife was happy for some time. But after a few weeks, she said, "I think I would like a bit more, husband. Being king is not really enough. Just having a kingdom. I want to be emperor." So the husband argued for a little while, and then he went down to the sea. The sea was now black, and a storm was starting to rise. And the man called to the flounder and said, "My wife wishes to be emperor." And the flounder said, "Go home. She's emperor already." So he went home to find his wife living in a great marble palace, and either side of her throne were bodyguards, ranging from 2 giants, the tallest people you ever saw in your life. And then gradually, as each bodyguard was slightly shorter than the next, the last pair were simply dwarves. And so for some time they lived in the luxury of the emperor's palace. And the husband thought, "There is nothing else that my wife can wish for." But in that he was mistaken, for one day the wife said, "I want to be Pope." And the husband looks at her and he's slightly incredulous. But he thought, there's no point in arguing. So he went down to the beach and called for the flounder. And by this time the storm was raging. Ships were in distress. Clouds were hammering rain down on the dark sea. "My wife wishes to be Pope." "Go home," said the flounder. "She is Pope already." So the husband went home to the most magnificent palace you could ever imagine, with servants, and his wife was attended by bishops and cardinals, sitting on a great throne with a tall crown. The husband thought, there is nothing left. I can live in peace now. And he did for a little time. But after a while, his wife looked at the sun as it was rising and said, "I wish to command the sun, and I wish to command the moon." And so the wife said to the husband, "Go down to the sea and tell the flounder, I wish to be God." And the man couldn't believe his ears. And when he realized his wife was serious, that she wished to have control over the sun and over the moon, so he went down to the beach and told this to the flounder. And the flounder said to the man, "Go home. Your wife's sitting in your old hovel." And there the two of them lived. And perhaps by some strange magic, they live there still.